Hi everyone, and welcome to this lesson. In this lesson, we're going to be looking at reading and writing elements that are in a structure. In this example, what I have here in our PLC program POU, I am simply taking a raw value for a pressure transducer, scaling it, and we're producing some statuses and storing all of that information in the structure. So let's just have a look at how things are set up. So as per our previous examples, we have our analog structure, our analog status structure, our pressure structure, and our scaling data structure. And if we remember correctly, if we go and have a look at pressure, it's made up of our analog data, and it's basically the analog data right now. As lessons go on, you'll see how we expand on this and why we've done it this way. And then if we look in our analog, that's containing the main bulk of the data. So here I've got a GVL with pressure 1 and pressure 2 in, and I've got a raw global variable list, which is just containing pressure 1 as an integer and pressure 2 as an integer. We'll go back to the PLC program. I'm moving the raw data into pressure 1's structure. So this is a very, very, very basic mapping layer. So I'm looking at raw.pressure1. Notice that I access this information the same way I would access a structure. And if you think about it, no matter what platform you're using, if you have a global variable list or object, you access the information via the name of that global object dot whatever the element is that you're trying to access, and structures are no different. So all I'm doing here is taking the raw.pressure1, which is the integer with the pressure 1's raw value on, and moving that into the structured variable instance of it, which is the gvl.pressure1.raw. So now what I've done is essentially copied the information from our input layer into our structure. So anywhere else after this point, we can access the information from a common place, which is gvl.pressure1. So we're now containerizing stuff into our structure. On the next network, I'm looking at scaling that information. So here I have a function, a function block that is simply scaling the data, and this is asking for a raw min, raw max scale, min and max, and all that information exists in our structure. So this one here we are accessing. In fact, this one here is wrong. Let's just fix that. That should be raw. So GVL pressure 1 analog.raw, which is our raw value, and then the same for the nested structures that we looked at in our previous lessons, which is gvl.pressure1 analog scaling data raw min. So we're accessing nested structured data and passing it just like we would any normal loose tag or loose piece of information, and then the scale block is doing what it's doing and outputting the scale value, and we're storing it in gvl.pressure1.scaled. So again, everything is containerized in that structured data. Everything that was passed to this block is from structured data, and the result is stored in structured data. So let's come down to generate statuses, where again we're accessing raw information. We're doing a greater than or less than comparison, and we're storing the information by writing directly to the element in the data structure. Again, this is a nested structure, so I'm accessing this via GVL pressure 1 analog status and then our out of range high elements. Again, just an example of accessing structured nested structured data. And this continues, just accessing nested data. So hopefully you can see that we access this exactly the same way that we would access any other piece of information. It's just that we have to drill down through. Now, this isn't the best way of using structures, simply because drilling down through multiple layers all the time is cumbersome. It's confusing to look at. There's really long names here. Do we really need to be sort of doing this? This organization is hindering us at this point. In our next lesson, we'll have a look at tidying this up into something that makes a lot more sense, and hopefully will really show why structures are important to use and what the benefits are for using them compared to this method.